Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to another video. Today we're going to get started talking about the Medicom Mafex Black Manta from the Aquaman movie. Now this has been a long time coming. This is something that was delayed with a bunch of other Mafex, to the point where by the time you see this, nobody will probably care about this toy again. But I don't care because even if I didn't love even if I didn't love the Aquaman movie, I absolutely adore Black Manta as a character. So I wanted to support this character, not just because he's black, but more importantly, like, who else do you know can beat up on a whole dude in his whole domain and give him hands in his whole comfort zone? So I ain't trying to hear that. Black Manta is an OG. He's smart, he's cunning, and he is in his element no matter where he is, and I can 100% support that. So yeah, let's get to it. Let's talk about the toy. This is more of a new 52 design technology wise, because the original Black Manta was very it was just a swimsuit and a really cool helmet, right? This one has the technological advance that we are going to get into, which is pretty dope. So I really like the new 52/rebirth look on him. It translated really well for the movie, and it just came out awesome. Now again, this is just so nice. It's actually a really nice figure. Also, I want to note that the plastic on this guy actually just feels all around very different than what we've gotten from other Mafex stuff. Out of the box, I was able to pose this guy up with no issues. I didn't need any sort of shock oil. I didn't need to heat up any joints. Out the box, despite me getting him right before a snowstorm and sitting out in the cold, no problems whatsoever. So yeah, let's talk about our articulation on this guy and get to it. Let me lift up, because I am trying out some new techniques, which is a new camera and new mic, and hopefully you guys will like it. I'm gonna try for a few videos on this. But as articulation up, immediately we can jump into a swim pose with this guy right out. So as far as head articulation, if you were worried about that, you do not have to worry about that here. We can even tilt side to side. We can get expressive in our helmet. Everything about this is really dope. They took the time out to make sure all the articulation needs are met with this guy. Then we have this really nice candy coated painted visor. When you shine light on it, it reflects light so well, it almost makes it look like his eyes are glowing, which is really dope. I really like this idea, and it made it pop. Over here on our upper torso, starting with the arms, we can lift up with no problem. Our shoulder pads are actually attached to the arm and not to the armor, which is something I very much hate. So I'm glad they changed that. We have bicep swivel. As you can see here, we can rotate through and through. There's also a armor swivel for our gauntlets. So you have double the articulation there. And we are indeed double jointed. And despite the big bulky armor, the guy can pretty much move. There is a butterfly joint as well that allows us to rotate in. So here we have that. So we have all this articulation despite this guy looking heavily armored. On the left hand side though, it is a little different. There are a slight difference. Because of our tubing here, we can actually take out our tubing and still extend our articulation even further. But I would rather it stay in. Because of that, if you try to extend it too far, your tubing will come out. But they've made it so that if your tubing comes out, you won't have too much of an issue putting it back in. It'll be like, hey, it just fell out. But all the articulation is there on both sides with no problem. On our backhand side, we have our thrusters. Now, our thrusters are really nice, but they only move up and down. There won't be any outer movement, so no left or right movement, just up or down. It's pretty simple and straightforward. Backpack weighs him back just a little bit, so as you can see, it curves his articulation. You can actually press him forward though, you'll be a little fine. As far as our waist, we can tilt side to side. As far as our forward ab crunch, it's pretty limited because of the design here, but going backwards, you won't have any problem. Swimming techniques for this guy are going to be a breeze. Then we have our legs. Now the legs get a little tricky for me, because even though out of the box he's good, I feel like they've used a very new design for this guy, because there's no drop down method here in the legs. What it is that you can rotate in and out because your thigh swivel is there, but just straight up rotating it up and down, no problem whatsoever. It just feels loose though, but it's not. It's pretty strong. My ankles are pretty loose though, but as far as my legs go, there's no real issue there whatsoever. So as you can see, posed up, like I said, we grab it in swim poses. As far as doing any sort of cool crouching pose or anything like that, that's where it gets tricky. But because it doesn't necessarily tuck outward, as you see here. And as I take it off, which I'm okay because I wanted to do that, you will see that there is a different cut joint here. There's no movement for it allowing it to go outward, which I feel like is a little bit of a bummer. So you have your thigh swivel, as you see here, but you won't get that movement that allows it for the peg to go up and down. Here we have a peg that does go up and down, but it's so stiff, it doesn't feel like it's going anywhere, as you can see here, right? So we can kick our leg all the way up, but we can't go outward, which is a bit of a bummer to me that we can't do that. See? Just no outward. So we lose out on something really cool there that we could have gotten, but I don't know. I feel like they wanted to play something safe there because, as you can see, crouching poses. Oh, you can't see, sorry. Gotta remember to change on manual focus. But as you can see, crouching poses here have no issues whatsoever, but you just can't go outward. So doing any sort of outward kicks or anything like that, it's not gonna happen. It's just not, even though we can rotate our leg this way completely. So that is a bit of a bummer. But in terms of everything else with this, it's solid. Even our ankle pivot, it's soft and it's weak, but with some lemon pledge and tighten that up, dude, you'll have a great time with this guy. Toe pivot as well too. So it's weird though that we don't have any outward movement, but design wise I guess that makes sense because you never saw him do anything. It's not like he uses his legs that way. He does use them for swimming, and he doesn't swim any other way other than with his jetpack. So, but this has been really, really nice. I really like how this came out. So without further ado, we're going to take a small break and you're going to see me jump into our accessories. So let's get to that. Alright, so jumping on to accessories, we'll start with something very simple, the thrusters. So as you see at the back, and I mentioned before, but I also forgot to mention, we have thrusters here at our legs. So you can actually do either the large, because you'll get a pair of larger thrusters. Oop, dropped one. So let's show off the one here. So you'll actually get a pair of larger thrusters that you can actually tie into. Oh my god, I'm dropping everything today. But you can actually tie them into the top, or I'm gonna take this large one here and show you that it can plug. Oh yeah, it can plug right into the bottom too. No, it can't. Oh, so it's very much designated. Okay, I was wrong. So the top one, the larger thrusters have to go into the top one. Again, this goes back to them going up and down. No left and right, no anything like that. So then we have our smaller ones, which are designated for the legs. I thought that they were interchangeable, and I was completely wrong. I'm glad I learned. So here we are. Now, if we want to look at some, like I said before about the swimming thing, I guess this is why they said no need for it to go outwards. I'm a little bummed by that. I thought that the legs would be able to go outward. I'm glad I got a chance to sit down and play with it and test it out, so we can see how thruster wise, right, how he looks. So for this, you would actually probably tilt the legs a little to match the thrusting here. But yeah, this looks pretty cool. Looks pretty solid too. Now we're gonna get rid of our thrusters here. We're gonna talk about some of our other accessories. Let's fix up MANTA, because MANTA has two interchangeable arm parts. One of them being a blade that extends out by removing the tab here. So we're going to just remove the tab here, and we get a black blade that comes out of there. It tabs on. I have to make sure I tab it on correctly. There we go. This looks good. This also explains the propulsion that goes into this arm. It allows it for the blade to shoot out. But I like it. This is pretty solid. You have to be careful though with this tab though, because mine sits up a little high, and I think mine is a little warped. I'm gonna try to fix it by carving out the excess plastic. So you should double check yours as well too. The regular tab just tabs right back on. Same thing for this side with our harpoon. You can just untab it. Ooh, it's really in there. There we go. And you will get an extended harpoon version. So you look like you're shooting your harpoon. And these tabs of mine may have some excess plastic. or they're just tough from the cold. But I'm going to make sure. But as you can see, this looks pretty good as well too. Let's fix our focus. There we go. So let's remove this. I'm not even going to tap that other part back on as we go through other stuff. I just want to... Ooh, this butterfly joint actually has an extra range feature. I didn't realize I can take it all the way out. Look how far down I can extend that. So that means, does it apply for upwards? No. But it does apply for downwards. So you can actually come out pretty far and pretty down. Alright, I didn't know that. It's a cool new thing. Learning something new. Next up, we have stuff like, we have a hunter's knife that we'll get. So here's our hunter's knife. This will fit obviously in your weapons holding hand. I'll get to that in a second. And then we also get a short sword. Next up, we go through our hands. So you will get some open action hands. These are pretty nice. These definitely look like cool active swimming hands that you can use. Or, you know, defend off things because you're fighting them. Then, as you saw, and I mentioned before, we have our sword holding hands. As I mentioned, not saw. And they fit right in. Weirdly enough, they didn't give it an opening. Like, they wanted to slide right in through the slit of the hand. Let's see if it works if you try to reverse blade it. So let's see. Yep, works both ways. So you don't have too much distress, at least. It's designed that way. Then you'll get some relaxed hands. The relaxed hands are pretty cool. There we go. And that covers about all the accessories. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take some time, we're going to set up, and then we're going to try to jump into size comparisons. I want to thank you guys before I get to the size comparison. I want to thank you guys for sticking out with this new format as I try it out, see how people feel about it now that I have a proper mic. I don't have any lenses that aren't auto. All my manual lenses are manual for obvious reasons. But yeah, so I'm going to try this out and, you know, see how people feel about it. Otherwise, I'm just going to go back to recording on my phone. Alright guys, now we're going to finish up with the size comparison. This is where it gets really fun, because now you get to see the kind of stuff that you want to compare in your videos or put on your shelf and things like that. So let's get to it. First things first, let's compare the Mafex Aquaman. So let's do that. And again, sorry I didn't review this Aquaman. Life just got complicated and then I just totally forgot about it. So maybe I'll revisit it now. So here is MANTA next to the Mafex movie Aquaman. Here he is next to Justice League Aquaman. And what's crazy is I gotta find my Mezco one. I have it somewhere, but for some reason I could not find it in time to do this video. He's having some trouble standing. But as you can see, he is a little shorter than these guys. I expected him to be about the same height, but he's a little shorter. So, yeah, I don't find that too terrible, considering these guys are gonna fight underwater, so it's not a big deal. So let's move this one out of the way, right? So we can compare to the Mezco Aquaman, because some people may only have this one. And I think these guys actually fit a little bit better with each other in terms of height. So there's that. Ooh, what else can we do? We have a few other things. Oh, yeah, let's take these guys away. I don't know why I just now thought about this, but let's do Baron Bends. Two guys in helmets. You know, one is significantly outnumbered in terms of firepower. I don't mind that. Stuff just fell. But one is significantly outnumbered in terms of firepower. You know, Baron Bends is a half god, you know. But then again, he fought Aquaman, and that dude is crazy strong in the water. So, you know, play it smart. Here we are with an articulated icons ninja. As you can see, this guy's a little bit on the smaller side. Here we are with a Marvel Legends aim soldier. Let's actually fix his feet because he will fall otherwise. Then we have a 1000 Toys Knights of the Slice synthetic human. These are a little bigger than your normal synthetic humans, but still on the same size, right? And as you can see, he fares out a little better with these guys. Let's remove these guys very quickly. Then we'll do a Mezco Me, the cosplay version. This is to show you that the non-superhero proportion size-wise, right? And again, I apologize for that noise in the background. A ton of stuff just fell, and I'm trying to act like nothing happened. But in case inquiring minds continue to ask, here we are with a Mythic Legion's my Night Warrior. And as you can see, he not like he's too small, but he fits in well with both Medicom Mafex Mythic Legions. It's not terrible because he's not too small, but he's also not too big. So it really depends on how you're going to use him, right? So let's take these guys away. One last one that I do want to do, and I say this one for last for, I believe, a very good reason, is that we have the DC Essentials Black Manta. And I say this one for last because, one, he can barely stand, but I did want to talk about how we have this classic look from Essentials. He's much bigger, much bigger. He has trouble standing because the joints on these are just all over the place. But as you can see, he's much bigger. But more importantly, you see, look-wise, he's gone from just a guy in a wetsuit with a cool helmet and backpack to like this technologically advanced version, which I think is pretty cool. I like to see the progression and this kind of stuff, which is pretty dope. And I do want to add that if you have the Essentials one, the cutlasses or the twin swords from the Essentials Black Manta work just fine for this guy. So I will 100% be using it for this guy to make him look cool and kind of give him that classic feel when you do a couple other things. So I just figured you guys would enjoy that little bit of information. I want to thank you guys for watching, sticking it through the video despite my new format, which may be a little difficult for eyes right now as I try to tough it through and learn some new stuff. Thank you, please. Again, just thank you. Thank you for always watching. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for those that are subscribing. I do appreciate it. It is tough for me to ask that of you as I try to reach 100K. But as always, guys, please be good, do good, drink your water. Later.